Hey guys, welcome to my end of month wrap up for January, and honestly, I don't know what happened. I did a mid-month wrap up halfway through the month and thought I was kind of reading a little bit more than I should for like a year where I decided to read a little less. And you guys, I read so much in this last half. I read probably, I don't know, between 15 and 20 books in January. Once again, even though I decided I wanted to try to read less this year. I don't know what's with that. So we're gonna go through the books. My cat decided to try to be in here today. She was like trying to get in through the bottom of the door before I started filming, so I figured we'll try this. But she's already sitting at the door probably wanting to get out, so we'll see how annoying she is. I finally just like recovered my reading journal, I guess this is. It's just really where I jot down the books that I'm reading and some thoughts as I go. So I thought, like I did with the mid-month wrap-up, I'm just going to go through the books that I read in the order that I picked them up, because it's hard to do it by star ratings because I feel like I don't feel 100% confident in my star ratings. I'll still tell you what I think I'm going to give them, but there's always so much wiggle room there. So the first book that I picked up after my mid-month wrap-up was The Secrets of Winterhouse. This is book 2 in a series where our main character Elizabeth goes to this hotel called Winterhouse for Christmas vacation. And I can't say a whole lot since it's book 2, but it's very similar to book 1. It's a middle grade story. So these kids, I think they're like, what are they, like 5th, 6th grade or something? So there is a boy that usually spends Christmas there. His name is Freddie, that she's formed a friendship with. And they like all sorts of word puzzles. Last time, beginning of the chapter, there was word ladders, and I don't know what it's called for, what these are called, but this is really cool. So we've got a couple words, and then they use those letters to form a different word, and it's kind of all like implies a little bit of what's going to happen in the story. And once again, there's really cute illustrations. This one's just a scene from the town. Yeah, so book 1 is very similar to, book 2, they're both kind of the same. You have a creepy set group of people again, and there's some kind of mystery they need to solve using all sorts of word mystery type things, word puzzles. And yeah, it was just an enjoyable read once again. I think I gave this one 4 stars. That seems like a good number for me. Then I finally picked up Incarceron. You guys, there was a couple people that wanted me to read this so badly for so long, and I really enjoyed it. So this is fantasy slash sci-fi slash a little bit of steampunk. So it's in a world where I don't even quite understand it, because they're pretending to live in a certain era, but they do have ability to have things from like our time, but that's not very, it's frowned upon for whatever reason. I don't really know yet. Maybe that will come up in book 2. But there is a place called Incarceron, which is a prison. One of our characters is trying to get out of that prison, and then the other character in the non-prison world is the warden's daughter, who's in charge of the prison. And yeah, so I don't know. I have a hard time like describing what this book even is. I really quite enjoyed reading it, but I don't know why it's so hard to describe. There were lots of little things I didn't see coming. I was actually buddy reading this with a subscriber, so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, the next book is called Safik, and I don't know if I'll get to it in February, but hopefully in the next couple months I can get to it. Then I read A Single Light, which is book 2 after The Line Between, which I read in November, I think. I really liked that one. It had like cult elements plus like big pandemic elements. And so this one, can't say a whole lot again because it's book 2. But, oh, okay, so do you guys have like words that you can't pronounce? Because I have a couple of them, and this is one of them. So this is kind of like in a post-apocalyptic world. I said it. There's that word, like, and then there's this other word that I'm just gonna put on the screen that like I know how to say the word, but my mouth just like cannot say it. I have no idea. I'm weird. Anyway, so this is quite a bit different than book one because the cult elements aren't there and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't say anything. I guess it's just kind of what the world is like after this devastating flu, influenza thing went through. Now my cat's trying to get out of the room, of course. Yeah, but I think I give this one 4 stars, which is pretty much exactly what I gave book one. That one might have been 4.5. Enjoyable read. I don't know. I'm assuming this is going to continue the series, but I don't really know where it would go from here. Yeah, so this one, it was a good read, I'd say. Then something I learned this month, I've kind of been taking a break from audiobooks. I just find like as a parent, there's always a kid trying to talk to me, and like sometimes when it's just quiet, I just want to enjoy the quiet. But I found out this month that I quite enjoy listening to middle grade books because it doesn't need all my attention, plus they're fairly short, so I can take a break every now and then if I want. So you'll notice quite a few middle grade books coming up in the next little bit here, and they were all listened to in audio. So first of all, I've got Closer to Nowhere. I listened to this one because Amanda from the Curly Reader really like recommended it. It was, I think, was it one of her top reads of 2020? I don't remember, or it was something she enjoyed recently anyway. So this is a free verse novel, which I love when done well, and this one did it well. So our main character is Hannah. Actually, it kind of alternates between Hannah and Cal, who is her cousin who has gone to live with her after his mom died, and they're not getting along so well. And free verse novels have such a good way of like getting down to, I don't know, people's emotions, and they're often like really raw, I find, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done, and I would love to read more by Ellen Hopkins, or this just also made me want to pick up more good free verse novels again. Yeah, I would highly recommend this one if you like middle grade. Which reminds me, I'm planning on doing a middle grade book recommendation video probably next week or so, because middle grade March is coming up, and I thought it would be fun to share some of the middle grade books that I've enjoyed in the last year or so. So watch for that in the future. Oh, I guess, what did I give that for a star rating? Oh, according to my book, I give that one 5 stars, so that's pretty good. Okay, next up, Hidden Figures. I kind of suspected that I would DNF this book, and I did. I didn't get very far. To be fair, I heard people say this one was kind of boring, and so I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be boring, and I didn't give it a very big chance. I don't know, I need a little bit more dialogue, I guess. It's very descriptive, I guess. I don't know. I didn't get very far, but I ended up DNFing this, which means that I will unhaul it soon. Okay, then I read You Are the Girl for the Job. I highlighted and tabbed like this one so much. When I hauled this book a couple months ago, I did say I was a little worried about the contents. Like, I thought maybe it would be a little bit prosperity gospel. So it's You Are the Girl for the Job, Daring to Believe the God Who Calls You. And really, Jess Connolly just focuses on how it is our job to bring glory to God. And it doesn't really matter what we're doing. Like, maybe he has put something on your heart, but maybe he hasn't. But you can glorify God in whatever it is that you're doing. And this was just the perfect time for me to read this. There was so many things that really hit home. I ended up actually writing a full review of this on my blog. And I mean, I could have wrote a ton more than I did on there. I'll leave it linked below. There was so many things that just really spoke to me. I was actually just reading some lines out of here to Jared yesterday because I was like, this is so fitting for what we're talking about. Yeah, so if you are, I don't know, kind of like floundering, feeling like you're in an in-between place or like uncertainty, I would highly recommend picking this one up. Then Krista made me do a thing. She was had this entire video about NetGalley and how her rating is low and how she wants to bring it up. And like just prior to that, I had been like, I'm not even gonna do anything more on NetGalley because I don't like reading ebooks. I've talked about this over and over and over again. And then she did her video and she talked about how she was just interested in picking up books that were kind of like on her anticipated releases list or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's a good way to do it. So then I went on there and requested a bunch of books. And so I guess I'm going to try to read and request some books off of there that sound interesting, but not just like all the books because I can. So I did read Aftermath by Terry Blackstock. And if you've been here at all, you know, I do like Terry Blackstock. I've quite liked some of hers and found some of hers mediocre. So in Aftermath, we follow a number of different people. I actually feel like we followed more characters in this one. Like normally hers are like dual timeline or like dual perspective, but this one was at least 3, possibly 4. Like I've read so many books since then, I don't even remember the details, but there is a bomb that goes off at an event, and this one character gets pulled over by the cops because they got a tip, and sure enough, like part of the bomb making contents are in his trunk. And yeah, so it's interesting because this book took some twists that I was not expecting. Normally with like Christian suspense, I can see things coming. There was actually a lot in this book that felt different than the norm. There's always, with Terry Blackstock's books, I think always like it's a romantic suspense book. So there is a romance and you can tell right away who it's going to be. But I did appreciate this one because it was different than normal. I felt like, yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give spoilers, but I quite like that one. I think I gave it like 4 stars. Okay, then another middle grade audiobook that I read is Pine Island Home. I guess I listened to it. So this follows 4 sisters who have become orphaned because their missionary parents got swept away in a tsunami and died. And they end up going to live with their great aunt, but things kind of go down and things get messy, I guess. So this felt very kind of like boxcar children crossed with like the Penderwicks, which sounds really good, I think, if you have read those books. But then randomly, like this one character in here, supposed to be like this crusty old man, about 10-ish times in the book he uses the Lord's name in vain, which I don't like in books to begin with, but I really don't think should be in middle grade books. Like I know they're trying to get across that he is grumpy and stuff, but I think there's different ways to do it. I feel like it shows a lack of creativity when that is the way that authors decide to do it, especially in middle grade books. That really bothered me. So because of that, I think I'm only giving this one a 3-star, but I actually enjoyed the book other than that. Like, it could have been a lot more than a 3-star. And then this was a really short ebook because it is another free verse novel, middle grade free verse, Before the Ever After. So I really like Jacqueline Woodson because she takes hard topics, I feel like, and she does them well. This one was about, our main character is a boy whose father, what is this, like the 70s maybe? He was a football player and, oh, okay, it's the 90s, I guess. This book makes noise. He was a football player and he had a lot of concussions, and, you know, talks about kind of like when things changed and the concussions caught up to him and he started having mood swings and depression and all that they've kind of like done a ton of research on now. It was a very well done book, just not like my favorite topic. I don't know, just I guess maybe a male perspective and football, like those aren't really my things, but it was really well done. I think, yeah, I gave it 4 stars, so obviously it's well done, but I need to pick up more of her books. I have read a few, but I know she's also written like a ton. I'm pretty sure she's one of those authors that writes like 1 book a year at least. And then in my last, was it my mid-month wrap-up or was it my December wrap-up? I don't remember. I talked about how I don't usually share the books that we're listening to on audio together as a family, and then some people wanted me to continue that. So we're continuing on with the Chronicles of Narnia. We did finish Prince Caspian recently. This is book 4 in the series, so we're actually currently listening to book 5 now. Prince Caspian is not one of my favorite stories out of all of them. Yeah, I don't know. This was like, I think it's like one of the mediocre ones out of the bunch, in my opinion. Okay, then a book I started in December, As Bright as Heaven. So this one was on my December library TBR. Got it out from the library, started it, had to go back. I got the ebook, forgot how much I don't like ebooks, and then remembered, and didn't really get very far. I think I was like 25%. And then I decided to finally pick it up and finish it, and I just like cruised through the rest. So this is set in 1918 during the Spanish flu in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia was apparently one of the hardest US cities hit by the Spanish flu. I think the author's note said there was like 12,000 people died in that short time period that it was going through. So in this one we follow 4 people, the mother and then her 3 daughters. And normally I struggle with following that many characters, but the author did such a good job of making each voice very unique. So right at the beginning of the book, they move from their like small little village or whatever it is, and they go to live with the mother's husband's uncle. Does this make sense? Because he is an undertaker, or yeah, an undertaker. He has a funeral home, and they go to live in the funeral home, and the dad is learning the trade, for lack of a better terminology. And it's very interesting perspective because during the Spanish flu, you know, like there's a lot of dead bodies and stuff. I quite enjoyed the book. I felt like the ending was a little rushed and things like, I don't know, happened really fast at the end, but I enjoyed most of it. So I'm giving this one a 4 star. Then I read Everblaze. I read the first 2 books of the Keeper of Lost Cities series, I think February of last year, maybe January. So it's been an entire year. And then I picked up book 3 finally. So it took me a while to get back into the book, and then I remembered how much I enjoyed the series. So Sophie is our main character, and she finds out in book 1 that she's actually an elf and not a human, and she's telepathic. That's why she can hear people's thoughts. She always just thought she was crazy. And I can't really say what happens in book 3 or 2 or any of the other ones, but if you like Harry Potter, I would suggest picking this up. Personally, I like this series better than Harry Potter so far. I mean, I'm only on book 3, and you also need to keep in mind that I didn't read either of these as a kid, so I have no like nostalgia with Harry Potter or anything like that, but so far I'm liking the series more. I gave this one 4 stars. This is like a really good 4-star month. Actually, this one I gave 3 stars. This is 1 Year at Elsmere. This is a graphic novel about a smart girl who is poor that goes to this boarding school, and she has run-ins with a mean girl, is generally the plot, and I don't generally like that kind of thing, so I gave it 3 stars. The graphics were interesting. It was well done, but I think also I just realized like graphic novels are just not my thing. I need to stop requesting them from the library. And then the last book here is The Kingdom of Back. This is another one I started in December and had to go back to the library. And so I actually DNF'd this book. This is historical fiction about Mozart. It's really about Mozart's sister. And yeah, I thought I was going to really enjoy this book. I probably could have pushed through, but I just found I was bored. I didn't really like... It's historical fiction with like magical fantasy elements, and I didn't really enjoy it. I found it was boring, and there's so many other books that I want to read that I couldn't just leave this forever as like, oh yeah, I should finish this one day. So I decided to completely just DNF this one and be done with it, which is too bad because I really like this cover. Okay, so what I like to do every month is I give away one of my favorite books from the month to one of my newsletter subscribers. So if you watch my mid-month wrap-up, I really enjoyed Aggie Morton Mystery Queen, The Body Under the Piano. That is a middle grade mystery that is based off of Agatha Christie. I loved that book. That one was a 5-star. And then also from the last half of the month here, You Are the Girl for the Job was another 5-star. So my newsletter subscribers are going to have a chance to win one of these in my next newsletter I send out. So if you are not already subscribed, I will leave the link below, which is always below actually, and I'll try to put it above as well. And yeah, you can enter to win one of these books. I've had a lot of fun with this. Like, I've been sending books to India, Algeria, the US, like, you guys, they're just going everywhere. So I would love to hear what some of your favorite books from the month were. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I was going to try to read less books this month, but apparently I just want to read all the books. Thanks for watching, guys.